We're back!
Season 3 is here, y'all. Turning the page with your hosts,
Jer,
and Jel.
we're not relationship experts, and this isn't professional life advice.
We're just two ordinary souls willing to share our extraordinary journey in the hope of inspiring and encouraging you.
Join us for Season 3 at Jer and Jel Podcast. Let's go!
Woo woo!
Well, welcome everybody to the Turning the Page with Jer.
And Jel.
And we are back again. We have had some struggles.
But we're hoping that we fix them this week.
Yeah, we are, like every month, it seems like we get something new to try to fix this and get it going, but we'll see. Let's see what happens.
You know what, though? You can't become experts without failing.
Very true. Very true.
So, anyways, today we are on episode 27? Are you sure? I thought we were in 26.
No, last one, the last episode we did was 26.
You're right. We are on 27. Yeah. Yep, you're right.
Let's just double check it to make sure, but yeah, we're on 26.
Yes, 27 today. Okay.
So episode 27, we are back.
I like what you titled it.
Yeah?
From I to we.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a hard That's a hard transition sometimes for people, especially when you get married and when new people come into the mix.
Yeah.
There can be a lot of jealousy that comes through. There could be a lot of dysfunction because of the fact that either your spouse or friends or
You're just
family don't like that
used
person.
to being alone, and it's all I, and you have to switch your I mentality to a we mentality.
I think everybody goes through that, though. That's like
Yeah.
everyone. Everyone's always going to have that where you have to take that transition. I dealt with that. I had a hard time doing that.
With me?
Yeah. Remember I used to always say I?
Oh,
Me?
Yeah.
Yours?
Yeah,
Mine?
that's true. You did.
Yeah.
And it took you a while to finally say we or our.
Yep. But now I got it down.
Yeah. His money is my money.
Yep.
My money is my money.
Yep.
You
Pretty
did
much
it.
true.
That was joking.
Pretty much true. No.
No.
No,
I'm
we've
joking.
got a good balance. We found a really good
Yeah.
balance that works for us.
But
so.
there's a lot of things that happen when you become a we, right? There's friendships that evolve and we'll go a little bit deeper into that, but you're transitioning from the single life to married life. So what does that mean for all your single friends? Like there's that kind of transition.
A lot of times they freak out because you don't go out with them as much
They do.
You're not available as much as you used to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it reshapes your friendships when you go from singleness to the married life, and even vice versa when you are married and you get divorced, but then all of your friends are still married. You know, it goes both ways. Dynamics change.
Yeah. It's what thinking about it, what's one of the biggest struggles that you've seen when you've gone through that, as far as how friends have reacted, or did you ever have any major issues or issues that arose with that transition from?
Well, thinking back to my first marriage, to my son's dad, well, I was with him for 9 years, and then we got divorced. So my closest friends were still married.
Yeah.
And my best friend at the time, who I was really close to, was married. And when I got divorced, the dynamic did kind of change a little bit. I noticed that I wouldn't get invited to couple things as much. Sometimes yes, and then I would say no. But then there were times where I didn't get invited, and then I'd get all hurt about it, but I wouldn't have gone anyways. But it's the fact that I was left out at all. Like, I would rather have been given the option to choose for myself. Like, hey, I'm going to invite Jelly to this couples thing we're having at the house or whatever. And then I get to decide if I want to be around that or not. Right? It should be my choice. Like, how comfortable do I feel being around all these couples right now, newly divorced? Oh, my comfort level is going to be here. Because sometimes your comfort level is up here on certain days, and sometimes it's lower on certain days. So sometimes you can tolerate, more couples than not on certain days. So it really just depends. And so I do remember feeling left out back then. But I was also younger and immature, and now in my mid-30s, if that were to happen, I would just be like, okay, cool. I don't care. I'm gonna go treat myself to a movie. I'm gonna go get a mani-pedi. I'm gonna date myself. I'm gonna do all these things that I didn't normally get to do maybe when I was married or with married couples. Like, I don't see it like that anymore, where I would just, like, if you and I were to get divorced, which will never happen, but, like, let's just, hypothetically, okay?
You get that out of your mouth?
I'm giving an example.
I'm going to go wash your mouth with soap.
Let me just give this example. So let's just say that happens, right?
So when I divorce you next time.
Well, I would never. But let me tell you. So let's just say that happens. Don't start that. Don't start that. So let's just say that we do get divorced, right?
Yeah.
And then I become single.
I can't agree with that.
I know, but this is a hypothetical scenario. And I become single, right? Well, guess what? My best friend's still married, and would I still hang out with them? Heck yeah. If I get invited, I'll still go to trips with them. I would still go to family functions or whatever. And if they have things with other couples, I don't care, because I'm not a couple right now. Unless it's something that I can, like, invite another friend to,
Yeah, we see that.
But I think it's different as you get older. Like, when you're younger, you see all these things as, I'm so hurt, I didn't get invited, or whatever the case is. And then you get older, and it just doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I did experience that in my early 20s, but I haven't really experienced that in my adult life. Like, I think my later adult life.
I think when you get to a certain age, you mature, for one thing. The second thing is you learn to be comfortable around yourself, or alone, or in private. So typically a lot of times in your early 20s and stuff, like, you want people around you all the time. I gotta be with someone. I gotta go, hey, let's go do something. I went through that, where I was like constantly, hey, let's go watch a movie, hey, let's go do this, hey, let's go do that, let's go to dinner tonight.
That was like last year.
Yeah, that was it. But even when it did come to the point, like, if I was alone, I went through that as well. I did go through a season where I was single for 3 years. Close to 3 years, not quite full.
Did you
3 years,
feel lonely?
At times, yes. At times there would be struggle. At times there would be times that I was like, I wish I had someone to share this with, or, just being able to come home to someone and share your day and share experiences. That means a lot. That brings a lot to life. That brings a lot to balance.
But do you think that those 3 years kind of strengthened your relationship with yourself, because
Definitely.
You learned to love yourself better and more, and be content with where you're at?
Yeah, it did. It there was a time in going through, before I went through that, or during that time, and I've shared this with you, is that I was asked, who am I when I'm alone, and who am I as a man? I couldn't answer that. I couldn't bring words to say, I'm this as a man, I am this person as a man, or this is who I am. Everything revolved around me being a parent, me being a husband, me being an employee, me being whatever. Now, despite what my situation is, whether I'm in a relationship or I'm not, I know who I am. I know my purpose. I know what my calling is. I know who I need to be. And going through that journey is in itself a challenge, because a lot of times, like, I'm even in the point that this is going to surprise you, but I am not in the place where I need to be yet. Yeah, I'm not perfected
I'm not surprised.
Yet. I thought that was going to be... I thought that was going to be surprising.
Why would I be surprised? Oh, my goodness. First of all, I'm not
surprised. Because
you
have the perfect husband. Like, he does everything right. Okay, let's just go on from there.
No, hold up. Wait a minute. So, first of all, nobody's perfect. And we're constantly evolving and bettering ourselves. And there's no way I would have thought that. But nice try.
Rude. Rude. That's all I got to say about that.
So then, like, from my experience, well, let's ask you, have you ever experienced that? Like, whenever you got divorced in the past, did you go through some friendship dynamics that changed?
Yes.
Can you elaborate? Like, how did they change?
Multiple ways. I mean, even before our relationship, I had created friendships with people, and because of the fact that I was not trying to live life in my purpose. So I created new relationships. I created new people that I hung around with, and those weren't relationships that were long term. Those weren't things that were going to go like lasting, like long term. I guess there are a couple that have, but then some haven't. And one being because of what my calling is and who I am did not align with those people that I was hanging around with that were in another thing. So you know how that's changed.
I think we can all agree that sometimes friendships are for a season.
Yeah.
They're not forever. You know, you have a friendship maybe 10 years or 20 years and then it ends, or 5 years. Maybe it's just a few months and then you kind of just fall apart, or, you know, sometimes they're just meant to teach you something. They're not meant to be there for life, and that's okay. But I think for me, back in my early 20s when I did get divorced and I was feeling like left out, I think it would have been good to have my friends reach out to me, you know, have open communication, make me feel valued, you know, stuff like that. And sometimes they did from what I remember, but then other times they didn't. So like for instance, I have a friend now. I have a friend who recently got divorced like about a year ago, I want to say maybe a year and a half. I can't remember the timeline, but she's very much in her single life, and all of her friends around her are pretty much married except for a group of friends of hers that aren't. I think she has like 3 or 4 that I don't know, that aren't married, that she's become closer to because she's in her single life and single season, and so are they, which is great. I think you should have friends that are in the same season that you get to go through the season with. And but however, I still make sure that she's included as much as possible. Like if we plan a trip, I make sure, like a family trip, that I'm inviting other people to, then I will invite her. Like we just went on a camping trip and she was invited. Like I don't leave her out. I give her the options, like, hey, we're going to go do this. We're going to do this. I invite her to isotope games. She gets invited, and it's up to her to decide if she's going to attend or not. And sometimes she doesn't. Like she really just doesn't want to be around other couples, or maybe just various reasons, and that's okay. But I want her to know that I'm still here. I'm still her friend. I value our friendship. And whether you feel comfortable or not, I'm still going to invite you. So, I don't want her to feel like she's all alone, basically.
Yeah. I think when I was so after my first marriage, when I went through that divorce, I had a hard time getting back to normal in that. And not because of the relationship. I was so glad to get away from that relationship. Still am to this day. And the problem that I had is I had created relationships with family, with people outside. So people that were at my kids' school, people that were in their sports, people that were in different things that we would run into them throughout, the week or throughout the day, dropping the kids off at school and people that you would see there and stuff. Well, when I went through that divorce, it was a bad divorce. It wasn't good in any way. But I was starting to be like, when my name was trying to be defamed, or how do you say it? It was like she was trying to ruin my reputation.
Right.
Around people that knew me and knew her. And I thought that I had to make that right. Like, I had to convince people that who she says I am, that's not me. And for like almost 2 years, or maybe a year and a half, something like that, like we would run into people and you would see some that would come talk to you and they'd be completely fake. And then there's other people that you would talk to and they were like, fine. Like, it didn't matter. They were still going to treat you like you were, the friend that you were. And then there were other people that were just like they acted like they didn't even see you. So when they were being told, or I would talk to someone, I was always thinking that I had to like make up for that. And that I had to prove myself. Yeah. And until I found and got to that point that I was like, you know what? If people don't know who I am because of the way I am and who I am, then they don't deserve to be in my life. I shouldn't have any worry about that.
Right.
But I dealt with that for quite a while. And I know people do deal with that and struggle with that.
Would you say after your first marriage that basically your mutual friends kind of just gravitated more towards her? And you lost those friends?
Some of them did, some of them didn't. Some of them saw right through it, and some of them, it took them a little bit longer to get, to see. But, there were people that were like, no, we know that's not you. We know that's not, who you are. We've always seen you. We've been around you. But that's a big thing. That was a big thing for me to get over that during that time. And that was dealing with being single. That was dealing with, like, I felt like, well, those are my friends. I have to. Yeah. It was bad.
Well, I mean, that also brings up a different dynamic with, balancing your time between your spouse and your friends.
Yeah.
And then throwing in your family is a whole other thing. But we're just going to talk about friends for today. But how do you balance your friendships? Because before we got married, you came with your own set of friends. I came with my own set of friends. Mm-hmm. And so when you get married, sometimes, especially during the, newlywed phase, you're just all about each other. You just want to spend all these minutes and every day, every hour together, right? And so you kind of forget to spend time with your friends. Or you don't make the time, I should say, because you're just so busy getting to know your new spouse and life gets in the way. But when you finally come out of your bubble, because we all come out of our bubbles, how do you allocate that time between, like, me and your friends? Like, are you actually intentional with making time for your friends without me being there? Like outside of when we hang out with our friends together as opposed to you by yourself.
Yeah.
Because I feel, in my opinion, that you have slacked in that area.
How have I slacked in that area?
Slacked in spending time with your friends alone without me.
No, because that's something that... So since COVID, and we kind of came out of COVID, and we were friends. We knew each other. We hung out with the same group of people a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
During that time, though, like all of our friends that we had, like everyone went into like seclusion.
That's
like,
true. They kind of isolated.
And a lot of them didn't come out right away. They didn't come back out for, maybe a year after. Mm-hmm. There were times that, before, of course, we would always hang out and do things, and our friend circle was a lot tighter, and there was things that we would do. But once that came around, I think that was a big part of it. And then the other part of it too is like we were a new relationship, and I think that had some effect on things too. But like I still keep in touch with a certain group of people that were really close. Mm-hmm. We still communicate weekly, and we still send each other messages, and we talk about our, this is what happened today, or this is what's going on today, and this is, work, and this is that. But as far as us hanging out as a whole group, that has changed. That whole dynamic has changed over time. Mm-hmm. Other people that I was hanging out with, sometimes family, sometimes friends, like a lot of things have changed on that back end too, which is kind of out of my control. So I don't know. I think I just look at my best friend and I'm like, hey buddy, what are you doing today? You want to hang out?
You're talking about me, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, which best friend? Because I'm pretty sure I'm the best friend.
You want to cuddle and watch a movie? Yeah.
Yes, I do love my cuddle time. No,
So,
you're right. You're right.
I do try to do things with people still, but a lot of times it's like, hey, I can't because this, or I can't because that. And then vice versa. We have friends that reach out to me sometimes and be like, hey, you want to go do this? I'm like, crap, I have something tonight. Or we got in our life has been busy since we started this podcast. Since we've started this podcast, things have been like our time has really been compacted. Like if I'm working on the computer, then she's waiting because she's got a project she has to work on. And then so I'm trying to get stuff done. We're limited in time. Even like tonight, we're recording the day before. Actually, not even the day before. We're recording hours before this has to be launched, like 4 hours before.
Because we had such a busy weekend.
And that's busy. What I'm saying is like our time has really been shortened. Yeah. But even though our time has been shortened, like we're able to get a lot of stuff done in what we need to do throughout a week. And I don't know how we find the time, but we do.
And we do have two computers. Mine is just better than his. So
hers is bigger and faster. Mine is older and slower. And it doesn't have the memory and the smartness and all the graphic stuff that hers has.
You just described yourself.
Mine is still good. No, I did not. How dare you? I hope you choke on that.
My headphones. Hold on. I'm just.
Wow.
I'm sorry, but you fell right into that. I had to say that. I'm sorry, baby. I love you. Yeah, okay.
I could tell.
But yes, mine's newer, faster. But yeah, so we do end up sharing a computer right now.
Yeah, what it takes me to do on my computer that takes me 4 or 5 hours, I could get done on hers in an hour.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah,
I'll wait.
Or more on mine. I don't know.
Well, I just noticed that you and your friends don't really hang out as much, or even that, your coworker that used to go out to eat a lot with, and your single coworker, like that dynamic changed too.
Because I was single, and there was places that we would go that were not the most marriage appropriate places.
He ain't lying. Yeah.
And that was a change. That's a change that you have to go through and you have to consider. Mm-hmm. And I'll use that as an example. I have a coworker that I work with, like she said. So we used to go eat lunch like every day.
Every day.
And I would tell him, hey, where do you want to go eat today? And of course he would pick most of the places. He was like, only likes a few places, but I think I know why he likes a few places. So he would be like, Billy's Long Bar, Twin Peaks.
I don't know the other places.
I can't remember. Locos? No, we've never went to that one.
Hooters.
I can't remember the other one. No.
Oh, it's that Irish pub place.
What is it called?
I don't know.
Irish pub? I don't
No,
know.
it's a pub though.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Celtic look thing.
Yeah,
but
I don't remember.
we would go to those places, and even when we started going like for lunch and stuff like that, and then sometimes we go meet after, you know, it's not relationship friendly, because we would go to some of these places and it would be like lingerie Thursday or lingerie Friday, and then you go on Wednesday and it was like not topless Wednesday, but it was like a, what did I tell you, where it was like a no bra?
White t-shirt.
Yeah, white t-shirt, no bra. So, I mean, things like that. And as a man, you know, your whole mental thing is like, oh, I can see everything, you know? So,
Yeah.
no, that wasn't healthy. And it wasn't healthy in the first place for me being able, you know, going to it.
No.
I don't make, like, exclusion for it and say, oh, I was single, I could do that.
But you became
I still shouldn't have been, but...
You got in a committed relationship and
Yep.
married me.
Yes.
And decided not to partake in those
I did decide
activities.
With that, I had to come to the conclusion of, am I going to respect my wife, or am I going to please my friends?
Choose respect.
So
Choose
I
respect.
I chose
I know you
respect.
And when you respect your wife...
Stoneface Tavern.
Yes,
That's it. There you go.
Stoneface Tavern.
Celtic.
And when you respect your wife respects you in other areas.
Yes, you do.
Anyways.
No, but those are things that you have to take into consideration and change things. Like even, and that doesn't mean you have to stop everything. Like even we do things with friends still.
Yeah.
This last weekend, was it this weekend?
We celebrated our friend Levi's birthday.
Well, and during the earlier week, Janelle had a birthday party, and you went and hung out with her.
I had a girls' night Thursday.
And you guys had a girls' night. So, like, there's a balance in things, and you can enjoy life and enjoy friends and still go out and do things and be part of them, be part of their life. And that's a balance. It's a good balance.
And it was a girls' night on a Thursday night.
And I had a guys' night on a Thursday
p.m.
night.
And I was home by 10:30 because that's how we roll in our mid-30s. And it was Thursday, and Albuquerque sucks, and everything closes at 10 on Thursdays.
That's mainly why. That's mainly why. You should have probably been out to midnight.
Midnight is my cutoff, okay? I'm like Cinderella. I have a bedtime. But...
with no glass slippers.
No, I like the comfy flats.
Yep.
But I really like and appreciate that I can just be like, hey, babe, do we have any plans on Thursday? And then we check our calendars, and he's like, nope. I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to have a girls' night. It's Janelle's birthday. We're going to do this, and we're going to go. Can you, give me a ride there, pick me back up? Like, because, I do not drive downtown. Again, I'm a passenger princess. I don't do downtown streets because all those one-ways, hate it. And so anyways, and my husband here, my awesome husband, doesn't mind. He'll drop me off and pick me up and, go do his thing. He had a guys' night that night too, and then they came and picked us up, and it was nice. Yep. That is called balance. That is called trust. That is called what? What else is that called?
It is. It's trust. It's you have to allow your spouse space to have time with her friends, have time apart from you. You need time apart from your spouse. You need time with you, whether you like working out, riding bikes, I don't know, whatever it is you enjoy doing. You need that time to do those things. If you don't, you need to surround your people that you can find that. There's times that you need little breaks in between. And that just gives you a chance to get out and do things and just enjoy life,
What's that saying? Absence makes the heart grow fonder?
I have not heard of that.
You've never heard of that? I think that's how it goes. Anyways, yeah, like when you spend that time apart, your heart grows fonder for each other.
Aw.
Wow. I'm taking a trip without you. I'll be back in a week.
Hey, every time you've taken a trip, I have...
Stop. Okay, I get it. No, but
she
seriously.
comes back bearing gifts, let's just say.
Ay, Dios mío. But
and it ain't a snow globe.
Stop. It's because I bring my son back snow globes.
Oh, yeah.
That's why. Anyways, yeah, I think it's you need to create that balance and that space where he and she, you have that time apart. And you don't even have to be with your friends if you don't want. You can spend time alone. You know?
When you come into a relationship and you're coming that from I to we, you still have to have a sense of, and I don't want to say a sense of singleness.
No.
But you have to be comfortable still being able to be alone. Being
an individual.
And not cling so much to like you or you to me all the time, because then that gets just
because then you become,
I like it, I enjoy it,
then you become codependent.
Well, you do, and then you expect that person to fulfill like everything for you.
You can't do anything without them.
The only thing that I expect you to fulfill for me is give me respect, give me sex, because I like that.
Who doesn't?
And be encouraging. And feed me. You love to feed me, and I love all of those.
Am I encouraging?
There's time. Yeah, you are. You've encouraged a lot of stuff that I do. Encouragement. Regard me.
Stop.
But a lot of times we'll find ourselves in a place, well, I wouldn't allow you to go do something because in my past relationship, or because I was used to this, or because a year ago or two. Yeah. And you can't do that. You can't put that person in that same category.
No, because they're different people.
My trust for her has always been unregarded.
Based on what I have shown you.
Does that say, is that even a thing? Unregarded? Yeah, that is. Like, I don't ever look at her or think that she's going to go do something that's going to hurt me.
Like,
until
because your
she
ex
does
did that.
do something, and until something happens that I'm like, ow, that hurt, why'd you do that? But she has never given me any reason to question. She has never given me any reason that she is being disrespectful towards me. When she goes out and does things with the people that she's with, she puts herself around people that are like-minded. Mm-hmm. So, I don't worry about all that stuff. And when you go, I'm like, I love you, babe. Have a good night, because I'm going to enjoy myself, too. And
then I'll call him, or I'll
text
him. I usually will text him when I'm out. He's like, why are you texting me on girls' night?
No, she calls me. Why? You called me, and I told you, why are you calling me? And I had it handled, and I said, you do not need to be calling me. Hang up, please.
Because I had a guy coming over to purchase
our furnace. And I knew about that.
Yeah, but the guy was texting me, telling me that.
And I had his number, and I had already talked to him.
Gave him your wrong number. Anyways, the whole point is.
Yeah. I told her to hang up.
I wanted to make sure it got sold. Yeah.
And
he tells me, go. Leave me alone. Go have fun. Which I do. But sometimes I want to share part of my night with you.
Yeah, that's for after.
But then I'm home. I get home and I'm tired and I don't want to talk. I want to do other stuff.
She sends me snaps. She sends me text messages. She'll send
when
me
I'm
images.
Out,
I try not to respond.
I will go to the bathroom and take a selfie in the perfect light that usually is always in the bathroom.
Now that I enjoy. I always enjoy the selfies that you send.
Or I'm outside and I'm just taking a selfie and then I see a backdrop. Oh, I'm going to take a selfie. And then I send it to him when I'm out. Like, hey, boo, click. And then I'm like all seductive in my picture, and then I send it to him. And then he knows what he's getting later. I do.
Not a lie.
I make my eyes do that thing in the photo.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I think that is healthy.
Yeah,
spending time outside of your marriage. It has. Spending time outside of our marriage with our own friends has been very good.
Yeah.
But then there's also like choosing your friends also. Choosing the group of friends you want to surround yourself with. Because not all friends are like the best of friends. You know, they could be married or not married. But some friends are toxic and some friends are negative, or some friends just don't want to see you succeed. And those are not your true friends.
No. You have to weed those people out.
You do. You
purposefully.
have to. Yes, because those people can actually hinder your marriage, hinder your relationship, and I've seen it many times, and they're not healthy because those are the people that put things in your mind that you shouldn't be thinking, like, oh, maybe she's right. She noticed this about my husband. And I've never noticed that, but then you start to notice it because they made a stupid comment and blah, blah, blah. And then it just starts to seep in your mind. Yeah. And so you need to learn how to weed those out early. You know, like I can count on one hand how many friends I have. Literally, like my closest friends, I only have like 4. So, and I think you're pretty much the same too. I think you have a little bit more than I do, but you know, you are older, so you have more experience. And more you have lived more, so
she's on a roll today.
It makes sense that you would have more friends than me.
Wow. That's true. I am older.
I crack a lot of old jokes, but I don't mean it. Like, he's actually pretty young at heart.
When I was in 12th grade, she was being born. That's weird. Oh my gosh, that's so weird.
You were a senior in high school and I was being born. Wow. Look at that.
Anyways.
Well, when you put it that way.
Oh.
Why did you say that?
Hey, you say age ain't nothing but a number.
That's true.
We're all adults. We are old and we are consenting adults.
No. We ain't old. We're aging like fine wine.
So, did we go over this?
No, I'm skipping that. Nope.
Skipping that?
That's not a part of this.
Okay.
That's a whole other topic.
Ooh.
And we kind of touched that. We kind of touched on that first season.
Yeah. You know, your main priority is your spouse at all times. Mm-hmm. So find those areas and discuss the things that you need to discuss to find that balance in your relationship, because it's important. Like, that's a good thing for us, and we don't even do it as much as often as we typically used to or should. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't say should, but as much as we kind of want to, but our schedule has been crazy. So, and we've been doing other things. We've been going places and doing things.
We've been really busy. But it is important to encourage your partner's friendships, right? Yeah. And also foster your own friendship with each other, because marriage is more than just being married, right? You're friends first, I hope.
You should be doing those things with each other before you're doing them with other people.
Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, let me just give you an example. Like, I have friends that like to travel, and I get invited, and they're like, hey, let's go over here. I want to go to New York, for instance. I was like, I would love to go to New York, but I can't go to New York without my husband. Like, there are places I'll travel to without him, but then, like, if we've talked about, we want to do this together, or we want to do that, then I won't do it unless he gets to come.
Well, the timing of that too was not.
No, but you know what I mean?
It wasn't right for us because of the fact that we've already have 2 trips coming up prior to that.
I know the timing wasn't there, like financially, and also with PTO at work. It just didn't work out. But I did text them, and I'm like, I wouldn't do New York without my husband, because we had talked about doing that. Like, I know you want to go to Miami. I wouldn't do Miami without you either. You know what I mean? Like there's just certain places.
I've been wanting to go to Miami since we got married.
Yeah, or
before.
And so there are certain places I just won't go without you. There's things I won't do without you because we have discussed doing them together. And I would feel so guilty doing them without you. The whole time I'd be video chatting. What's it called? FaceTiming.
Look, babe, look at this building. Look, babe, look at this art museum. Yeah.
Like when...
Look at this fountain. Oh, my God. Look at the foliage. Look at all the foliage.
It's foliage.
Yeah.
But like I went to New Orleans with my sister because I have an annual sisters trip. And we weren't even, I think we were dating. Were we dating? We're kind of, I can't remember if we were officially dating.
Because I watched the dogs.
No, we were not dating. We were just kind of hanging out because that was in September.
Yeah.
And then we didn't start dating till October. Okay. So we weren't
But I stayed at your house.
Yeah, because I needed a dog sitter. But my point is that I didn't feel guilty going.
She still wanted me at that time.
I didn't feel guilty going on the New Orleans trip with my sister because that's not something you and I discussed about. We weren't even really dating yet.
No, you just said, "Hey, I'm going to New Orleans. Would you mind watching Holly
at my house?
Bring Bruce."
Yeah. So that I didn't mind. But the whole entire trip, what was I doing? Texting you,
sending me pictures,
calling you, sending you pictures. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it was good.
Anyways,
good times.
I think it's important, like I said, to foster your own friendship and your relationship as well as encouraging your partner's friendships.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that many friends but want to get to know other couples, or you want to try and get more friends and cultivate new relationships, the best way to do that is to actually get out there and do stuff.
Yeah.
Not stay at home, right?
True.
Like join a club. Like, okay, so you like art, go join a painting class. You like to dance, go take some dance lessons. Like, what is it that you're into? That's not the kind of dance. I was thinking more like country or swing or Latin.
I'm joking. Although I wouldn't mind if you took those type of classes.
Well, they do have strip tease classes. Like,
sign me up, baby. I mean, sign you up, baby.
Do you know how hard that is? No, I'm good. Hey. Regular dance for me. But hold on. So, anyways, like I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, is that, get out and do stuff that you love. You like to go camping? Go camping at a site where it's not secluded, right? There's a lot of campsites where it's like a group thing.
Yeah.
Go and do things that you like.
Yes.
And then you'll meet other couples.
Yeah.
And you won't know if you click unless you actually talk to them.
Yeah. And that's healthy for you guys too. If you find couples, like we went glamping just recently, and the couple that we went with was very. It was recharging because we get to share things that we're going through, or things that we're dealing with, or things that we're navigating through, and share those experiences with each other. And it's good to always see different perspectives and see kind of reason why we do what we do here is to give a whole new perspective on how we deal with things.
Yeah.
We've had some different experiences that we've gone through, and we kind of share those things. But, it's nice to be able to sit around with somebody and say, hey, we're dealing with this. We've got teenagers, or we got this issue that's happening, or we got that issue that's happening. And, it's nice to be able to share it. And then when we have that alone time, is you as girls hanging out and us as men hanging out, there's certain things that we can talk about as well, too, that we're dealing with. Whether it's personally or through...
Yeah, and it strengthens your bond with each other.
Yeah.
And it also encourages growth in your relationship.
And it's good to have people that can hold you accountable. Because a lot of times our minds or our thoughts aren't always in line with where we should be moving towards. And a lot of times the people that we surround ourselves with are in alignment where we're all moving towards one goal, one area, and that allows you to be able to kind of check each other, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So
it was very refreshing.
It was.
And recharging.
We had such a good time.
As you said.
Such a good time. New dynamics. Married life brings different responsibilities.
Yeah. I mean, married life, because you have new routines. It's a new commitment. You are not just bringing your two lives together. You're bringing your friendships together.
Yeah.
You're bringing your finances together. Your kids, if there's kids involved together. There's a whole lot of new dynamics when you are bringing two different lives together. So, anyways, marriage transitions can be difficult when you're transitioning from the I to we, but it's not impossible, and everyone has done it. And I think the greatest thing to do is just have that open communication, like, to help each other switch from that I to we, because it does take some time. I think we'll be a year married this October, and sometimes I still find myself saying like my, but it's rare now. Like it's only once in a blue moon, and it just takes some time to get used to that new dynamic.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
Yeah. But it is kind of crazy how you can see how a new marriage can reshape your whole social circle. Because I feel like you had certain friends before we got married. I had certain friends, and then now we have new friends.
We have new people that came into our lives.
We have new couples that came into our lives after we got married. And they have been a blessing in our relationship, I would say.
Yeah, we've had some people that really stepped up and have been very supportive and encouraging and inspiring.
Yeah.
And it's really important to have people like that. You know, it really helps it helps you grow together and individually. And there are some of those friendships that we do have that maybe they're not as tight, and we don't see them as often, but it seems like when we do meet with them or see them, it's always a positive thing. Yeah, like you just catch up quick.
You pick up where you left off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are great friendships to have too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
Wow. Did we cover all our topics?
I think well, that was episode 27. Yeah.
And we got through this smoothly, and I don't think we've had any issues.
I hope it goes well.
Yes.
We'll see when we do the editing, cutting, pasting, whatever magic
all
you
that
do.
Fun stuff.
But yeah, so today's episode we just touched on marriage and friendships and the I versus we mentality and how to navigate through that and shift to the we mentality from the I, and fostering those friendships outside of your marriage as well as your own with your spouse.
And both are important. So put time, put effort, get people around you that are supporting you, get people around that are going to be like-minded.
And be intentional.
Yes. And love on your spouse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Trust your spouse.
And love on them.
I love you. I love on you.
Yes, you do.
Are you implying that I don't?
No.
Okay.
I'm just making suggestions.
Yes, but, take a look at your friendship dynamics now. Take a look at your friendship with your spouse and see how you can reshape those dynamics. Maybe it's a dynamic you don't really like. Well, what can you do to change that? Talk to your spouse, have that open communication with them. I've been in a relationship, and we didn't touch about this, where my spouse didn't like my closest friend. Like, that has happened. And that is a whole difficult situation because you're trying to be close to your best friend, but also this is your husband, and you're like, husband comes first. Like, how do you deal with both? And it's very hard to navigate, and it puts you in a pickle. It puts you in the middle and in a very difficult space, but ultimately your husband or your spouse comes first. So before that friendship, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just having that open communication with your spouse so that you guys can both come to an understanding in that case, or maybe both want to try and cultivate new relationships and new friendships. Have that conversation.
Yes. I think that's it. You covered a bunch of great stuff.
We we covered.
Yeah,
Look
we
at
did. We did cover. But, we want to encourage you guys. We hope this is something that you find helpful. We always ask if you feel that this is something that can encourage someone else, share it, subscribe.
Yes.
Don't miss out on what we got coming out every week. We do put out a new episode every week.
Every Tuesday.
We've got shorts that are going to be coming out. We've got reels that are going to be coming out. We've got all kinds of good stuff.
And on our next episode, you don't want to miss it.
No.
You want to know why?
I'll there.
Give you a little tip. We are doing a giveaway, and you don't want to miss it.
Wow. All right, y'all. Well, thank you for joining us once again on Turning the Page with Jer.
And Joe.
And we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Join us for a special edition and a giveaway.
Heck yeah. It's going to be a good one.
Ooh. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.